What's up, guys? Welcome back to Evoke Your Adventure. Today's episode, we're covering our top 10 rookie mistakes that we made. Some of them are pretty bad.
And
we're
thought...
still rookies.
Yeah, and we thought we were going through some RV hazing.
I think we were.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it happens.
The RV gods
Mistakes
were just
happen.
testing us.
Yes.
All right. So, first things first, the battery died.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
We didn't really understand how it worked. The fridge was always running off the battery even when we weren't using the RV.
Yeah.
We didn't really know that ahead of time. So
yeah, we took it to a storage unit because it had to sit for about 2 months or so. And we didn't realize that the refrigerator was going to drain the battery. Because it did. We tried to unplug the refrigerator and you really can't. So we had to disconnect and connect the battery every time we use the RV in the storage unit.
Yeah, so. And we quickly learned that dies very fast. So we're going to get better batteries later on. Hey, Lucky. But that takes us to our first trip. We decided to go boondocking with no generator and dead battery.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we thought the trickle charge from, plugging into
driving
the truck
for 3 hours
was going to charge the battery. We did actually buy a battery charger too, and we thought that was going to wake up the battery.
Yeah, we did charge it, and it was at 100%.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
So what we learned is the battery was actually dead.
Dead.
Yeah. And we ended up, that's a whole long story, but we had to get it recharged and plugged back in because it was dead.
Yeah, super dead. So we went boondocking
with the dead battery.
No
backup generator at that time.
At night with our friends, and we pulled into, it kind of brings us to our next one. We pulled into the area where we were going to park. Parked it unhitched. It's going decent, and then the lever is that a technical difficulty?
Yeah, cats keep meowing. It just is.
Oh well. Alright. So we were, okay, so we just pulled into the spot that we were going to boondock with all our friends. Unhitched, levelers went down fine, all great. Battery was dead, as you know, and the slides wouldn't go out. And I was determined to get the slides out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go into all the details, but I was under the RV, cutting stuff out, trying to figure it out. Couldn't get them out, so we slept in it with the slides in. It wasn't super comfortable, but it worked.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So we...
So what I did was manually put them out, but you have to unscrew a bypass valve so that the hydraulic fluid goes... bypasses and goes to the right area to push out the slides. I didn't realize that I didn't tighten that all the way back up after everything was done. And so the next day when we were at an RV park,
we at least had power.
Yeah, we had 50 amp, which was good.
In.
Full power. So the battery wasn't an issue.
And we still couldn't get the slides out.
And I was like, what is going on?
There's no way. We have to get the slides out.
Yeah. So I just kept doing it manually, and it was totally wrong because that bypass valve wasn't tight.
Yeah.
So we eventually got them out, and then the next day we couldn't get them in. Literally, we had to drive our friends back to the valley, drop them off.
3.5 hour, 4 hour drive.
Yeah, from the Grand Canyon. Drop them off, and then wake up the next day, drive back, take off of work, drive back to the RV, try to get it figured out. We called...
Lippert.
The system, and they're great.
Because Sunday they're closed, and Roadside said we could only tow on Sundays, which obviously towing would be ridiculous and a crazy charge. The campsite was cool and didn't charge us. Yeah,
so literally the next morning we talked to Lippert for, I think it was a minute and a half, and he was
oh, this
double
is what
check
you need
that
to do.
valve that you undid.
And then he was
I did,
oh shoot.
And as soon as we pressed it, the slides went back in. So, massive freaking mistake that took... I think we spent 20 plus hours.
We did learn a lot
trying to figure it out.
We learned that
it was one little thing.
RVers are really cool and helpful, and campsites are really helpful. And also how to change fuses, because that was something I never knew about.
The dude who was next to us with his family they were full-time RVers
Yeah.
as well, and he was an electrician, so he went and taught us all that. It ended up being good. It was just rough. At the moment, it was rough. So that brings us to, what do we got? Pulling the plug out of the truck.
Yeah, so obviously that trickle charge that we thought was going to work, well, you know, you're obviously plugged into the hitch, and if you don't unplug when you unhitch, then you pull out the plug.
Yeah, so...
And the socket also can come out.
Yeah, the RV goes into the bed of the truck, like she said. The plug does. And that plug was already kind of broken, so I like to think I did it on purpose so that we had to switch it out.
It was good. It again, we needed to replace it anyway.
But, yeah, it was still plugged in, and I just drove away. It popped out. But, again, it ended up working out, and we switched it out during the next week, and it was pretty easy switch
and
out.
Also, remember to always, you know, put your tailgate down if you are unhitching. That's a reminder we've been good about, but we just want to remind ourselves too.
Yeah, and you've probably seen those tailgates that go like this and then down so that you don't have to worry about that, but we kind of want to keep our tailgate, so we'll just have to keep reminding each other to put it down.
So we also were so excited to get our RV that when we first had it hooked up we were in Westworld, and because we couldn't find a storage unit yet, and so we went to a campsite, wanted to try it out, test it out, and we're like, let's renovate. We have no supplies, no first aid kit, relatively nothing, and we're just like, you know, we have to take out this cabinet. It's ugly. I just can't stand the look of it.
There.
Yeah,
probably saw it in the tour.
We'll try to like put a picture of it up or something. But
yeah, pop one up.
Anyway, so I was like, this cabinet, it's awful. Like, please let's just try to get it. So he starts.
Really wanted it out.
Yes, but he's like, oh, I could do it.
Again, all the wrong tools. I don't even have like a box cutter, and it's caulked in there, so you would cut it out. But I was using a flathead screwdriver to cut it out, and then bent the things back, and I was pushing on it gently.
He thought it was plexiglass.
Moving. Yeah, I didn't realize it was.
It was actually.
I didn't realize what was
going
to happen. Obviously, but I was pushing on it. I was like, all right, it might come out. So I pushed a little bit harder, and it was moving out, and then it just shattered. And literally, I was like, oh.
Maybe zoom in.
Yeah, I'll show him. But I was like, oh, and I literally covered like this. And I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, it didn't hurt that bad. It looks fine. And I was like, okay. And I picked up my hand, and literally, this has never happened to me. It scared the shit out of me. Blood vertically left my wrist. Like, you can probably see the scar. It's totally fine now. But, it vertically left my wrist, and I was like, oh my God.
He was screaming that he needs help. And I said, I'm calling 911.
Right now. Yeah.
I made him take off his shirt, wrapped it around his wrist.
Yeah, it was all good.
We had no shoes on, and we were in Westworld, which is really hard to get to for probably
it's just
an ambulance.
Confusing, yeah.
Like, they wouldn't be able to find us, so we had to get in a car to get to a gas station that was somewhere reasonable. And
knows, yeah.
Shout out to City of Scottsdale and Scottsdale
oh my God,
Fire.
They were so quick.
Literally less than like 3 minutes. Like, they found us and wrapped him up and then sent us to the ER. Of course, we went back and got our shoes first, but we didn't have a backup shirt because we took off his shirt to wrap his wrist. So he came in looking like kind of a
I'll
wreck.
throw up the picture here.
Yeah.
But that's the shirt I was wearing, and I ended up being totally fine and got 4 stitches and it was all good. But
so also, first aid kit, very important.
Yeah, and
keep one in your truck, keep one in your trailer.
If you're gonna renovate, just have your tools. Don't try and rush it.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to, what do we got? Did we talk about that?
Nope.
Okay, so we like plants. They bring
nature.
life
we love
to
nature.
Your house, and we brought too many.
We brought too many, definitely.
They're just like kind of in the way. Like, some fit really well, but and keep them alive, and then moving them when you move the RV, because we don't stay in places for like months at a time. It's like 2 to 3 weeks maximum.
We'll see.
So just, if you're gonna bring plants, like, know where you're gonna put them and know where you can store them when you're driving the RV.
And the other thing is,
we had to give some up.
Yeah, and not only that, but weather causes a change for plants too. Like, we lost a couple plants because we accidentally left them outside and it went below 30 degrees. So all 3 of them just tanked. So
Yeah.
that was the reason why we got rid of those 3.
Yeah.
I think we're down to 3.
3
I
really
know,
good
and we
ones.
used
Maybe
to have
4.
at one point, like, not in the
4.
RV, but we had 32 with the quarantine
Yeah.
stuff.
So
and then
we gave some to friends.
ton
and
away.
family.
My
Yeah.
parents, my sister, and we have 3.
Yeah. So, just, yeah. What else?
So before this trip, we had everything ready. We had the cats in the car, the dog in the car, ready to drive
And
away.
this was the big move. Like, we're moving into the RV.
Yes. We pull out the tire covers and we discover we have a flat.
Literally when we were going to pull away.
Yeah.
Like, it was the last thing we were doing.
So luckily this was Friday during the day, so we called roadside, and the nearest roadside was 2 hours away. So
Like, out in Globe.
all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Globe, and we were in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, whatever. And we actually learned a ton about...
The dude was awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
we got
amazing. We're going to try to blog and do another YouTube on what we learned from him, because it was like,
All
wow.
these things about big
Had no
rigs
idea.
that, like, you don't really hear.
And
much.
accidents and how to keep
Yeah.
more safety features in place.
He's
so.
seen everything, because he just, like, takes big rigs out of incidences. So, we'll blog
Hope
about
the
that and make
batteries
a
will
video. Hopefully not.
So anyway, conclusion of that was having a freight jack is pretty important.
Yeah.
Because we could have changed it, we just, again, didn't have the right
Didn't
equipment.
have the ability. $75-$80. Not
And
bad.
also having 2 spares is pretty important too. But anyway.
So, leaving on this trip,
Yeah.
we realized we need to get diesel, so we backtracked just a little bit to get the diesel, pulled into a smaller gas station, and as I was pulling out, I pulled pretty far forward, like straight out in the gas stations over
He
here.
knew
and
it
there's
was
a
sketchy to
pole.
begin with.
Yeah, so you pull straight forward and then turn so it doesn't swing out.
Don't forget, our fifth wheel is like 42 feet long, and we have the truck in addition.
So I'm probably like 30 feet forward, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then I start to turn because I have to do a U-turn around onto the road. In the back corner right here, swung
You
out.
could probably, I don't know if you
Yeah,
can see it,
you can
but
see
we taped the window.
There was a tall cylinder, or not cylinder, like
Yeah, holding
concrete-
up the roof
yeah,
of the gas station.
You guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And the corner swung out and like pushed against it, and I felt horrible. But the owner of the shop was super nice,
so cool.
and insurance is
so
taken care of,
understanding.
obviously. But it was just unfortunate,
Yeah.
like simple mistake. I thought I was far enough. Headed
Yeah.
further.
And the other thing that's, again, like, we're lucky we did was get all the warranties we could and get the insurance figured
Yeah,
out.
everything
So,
was taken
I
care
mean,
of.
whatever.
Those things happen. Everybody understood. Like, the dude was so nice. So just make sure you're pulling far enough forward and doing really wide turns. All right. What do we got? Summit's having a dream, if you can hear him. Freight jack, pulling enough forward. Oh,
This
like,
trip
coming here.
again, yeah,
coming right here.
is if you're going to faraway places, you should probably check where the gas stations are if you're not carrying extra backup diesel.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
came
Super close.
probably not as close as we thought, but it felt
Yeah.
really close to
It
running
was
out
stressful.
of gas. Like, luckily, the last 10 miles or whatever was downhill. It was sketchy. We ended up with, like, it said 14 miles left on the tank before empty.
Yeah.
Which really probably means like 30, but
Yeah.
it's still super sketchy when you're out there with a big rig and you have 4 animals and
And that's the thing is you start
It's almost
off,
sunset.
like if you're not pulling for a while, your MPGs are going to be off.
yeah.
And when we're pulling and we're pulling uphill, like your MPGs go down. So you can't really guesstimate how much you're going to hold in that
yeah,
tank.
that's actually a really good point. Like if you're going in your truck for like a week and the truck's it's easy, like it weighs
Mm-hmm.
nothing compared to the full rig. Reset your MPGs when you start pulling the rig so that you know where you're at, because we were still like running off of the truck MPGs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And it was so yeah, just switch it so that you know where you're at.
So the other thing which you've seen, renovating, we've done a lot of renovating to it. It didn't need it, but it just is more aesthetically and livable for us.
Yeah.
One thing we made the mistake of, as everyone knows, painting is pretty rough in an RV because you have so many coats of paint. Well, we forgot to label our cabinets, and we have a lot of cabinets.
I think it's 39.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? 39 pulls? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 39 cabinets. And
So-
we didn't label any of them. So We literally took them all off. They all look pretty similar besides some that stand out.
And took off the hardware too.
Yeah, and they're all in the right spaces.
Yeah.
So
that was my fault, by the way.
Renovating, just label if you take stuff off and you're putting it back on.
Yeah. It will be really easy to put them back on if you label.
And all of that happened in 2 months.
And then scroll down to the bottom. So anyway, that's most of our big mistakes that stand out to us. We did make a couple other ones, like not checking the length of allowable rigs and campsites. That's important. Backing into a pole with the truck. I never drove a truck before, so I might have done that. Anyway,
little dent, but not
tiny dent. And then like not putting away paint cans.
Yeah.
And then there might be a spill to come back when you open your slides.
Yeah, that was ugly. But
just is what it is.
Other mistakes have happened. Honestly, they're all learning lessons and good things that a lot of good take homes, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's the majority of mistakes for the first 2 months.
Yep.
Hopefully next time will be like less severe mistakes. If we do another video like this.
And you learn something from this too, because some things we were like, oh,
yeah,
that's
like, okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think we're really lucky that we've watched a lot of YouTubes and read some blogs, but mistakes happen.
Yeah,
especially RVers. So just expect that it's just gonna happen. Don't be upset. Be patient with each other. Be patient about the process. It's no one's fault. It just happens. And the more educated you can be, obviously it's going to help, but you're going to run into weird things. And you're going to learn a lot. And then you blog on YouTube too.
Exactly. And it's an adventure. Yes. So it's all fun at the end of the day. But hope that helped you guys. Hope you thought it was funny. We'll be talking to you soon. If you haven't yet, please click like on the video and subscribe below. And we'll see you guys soon.